Welcome back into The Jump. Richard Jefferson, Ramona Shelburne still with me. Ramona coming from her exotic locale in Tahiti. It's nice. I'm glad that you could drop in and join us, Ramona. I want to shift gears to the latest installment of the Jimmy Butler, TJ Warren drama. Last night, they met for the first time since this fracas back in early January. Jimmy had some very colorful language for TJ Warren back then, and so last night, highly anticipated. It was Jimmy's first game in a week also because of a minor injury he'd been nursing. So here's a look at the head-to-head matchup. Neither guy really shot the ball especially well, but Jimmy got to the line a lot more, and Warren was a -11. Jimmy was a +17 in a win for the Heat. And Richard, I know you just said plus minus can be deceptive. I know you think that the W and L column, that is the important one. But if you look at where Jimmy was defending TJ Warren, that's where some of that -11 came from. Do you think the rematch lived up to the hype?
I think it lived up to, you wanted to watch how it was going to go down. Did it live up to the actual hype? I'm going to say no. But the only reason why it was even hyped, it wasn't because of the feud. It wasn't because people thought Jimmy Butler or TJ Warren was the same player. It's because TJ has been on fire for the last few games. And he has been one of the best players in the bubble, right? He's been one of the most impressive players, the all-bubble team. That's why it was must-see TV. But if you really watch TJ Warren's game, and I called that game yesterday, if you watch him, he does it through their offense, moving the ball, cut shot. He's not an ISO guy. He's not going to get plays called for him. But I just felt like Jimmy Butler in the Miami Heat, it wasn't just Jimmy Butler, but the Miami Heat wanted to put out that flame, that TJ Warren flame, and they did a great job of it.
Yeah, this was a table setter, Rach. I mean, they play together. They play each other Friday also. They're going to probably be the 4 or 5 matchup in the playoffs, so we're going to see a lot more of that. But Jimmy Butler wants to get in TJ Warren's head right now. He's, of all the defenders who have faced TJ Warren for at least 150 different attempts, Jimmy Butler is tied for the best against him in terms of the number of points he's allowed scored on him. He's trying to get in his head because they're going to see a lot of each other over the next couple of weeks.
Absolutely. All right, and you mentioned the all-bubble team, Richard. The NBA announced today that indeed it is going to honor top players in the seeding games. It is introducing the Kia NBA All-Seeding Games team and the Kia NBA Player of the Seeding Games, which is basically who's the all-bubble team and who's the MVP of the bubble. Someone like TJ Warren would certainly indeed be in consideration. Richard, do you like that they're doing a separate awards just for these 8 seeding games?
1,000%, because we look at the shift, we look at the change, we look at how hard Damian Lillard has had to play to get his team in contention. We look at Devin Booker just really becoming a superstar. He was always a star, but becoming a superstar, but in front of everyone's eyes, leading the Suns to an undefeated bubble record so far and putting them a half game outside the playoffs. Even TJ Warren, what he's done leading the bubble in scoring. So there has been some magnificent performances that should be applauded, especially coming off of a 4-month layoff. They should have awards.
Well, look, the NBA has gone out of its way to make sure that these seeding games mean something. They didn't want to just have scrimmages. I mean, they had some of those, but they wanted these regular season seeding games to mean something in the scope of the entire season. We already voted for our postseason awards, so they had to create something so that these seeding games were not just a glorified scrimmage.
I think it's a great idea considering where we are at this point. We did turn in our awards ballots already, but I still do not understand why we had to at that point. The stats in these 8 seeding games count for the players' regular season stats. When we go back in the record books 10 years from now and we see the stats, they're all going to be squashed together with what we had before the shutdown. So why were the awards cut off in the middle of March? I don't understand that. I think
don't tell LeBron James fans that. Don't tell LeBron James fans that.
What? Why?
Well, I'm just saying because, if you look at the MVP race, if you look at that, he was starting to close that ground going into the final stretch. But they were saying, you had to stop and make your votes on everything prior to that. And ultimately, I think that took a little bit of fire out of the Lakers because they weren't playing for anything. They weren't playing for awards. They weren't playing for home court. There was really nothing in it for them at this point in time other than just to kind of tune up their game. So I think that actually lowered the performance for some of these top teams, whether it was Milwaukee, Toronto's actually played well, but the Lakers, the Clippers, I think has lowered it because there wasn't anything at stake. And so I think that actually was the one thing that they should have changed.
Yes, exactly. It would have given them more something to play for. And in the end of any regular season is a bit of a jumble of, does the team care enough to be fielding its regular players, and is there something they're going for? So I'm not on board with the original decision, but I at least like this decision. I'm excited to see who wins all of these new awards. Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.